Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to week 6 of Distraction Tactics. I am Dan. I hope that you're all keeping well and staying sane. This is week 6 of our film club. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being a part of it. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you to everyone who's watched the film. For everybody that hasn't, I hope this is still vaguely entertaining. If anything, you get to watch me terribly try and articulate ourselves. Anyway, we are travelling week by week in lockdown from country to country via loads of amazing films from all over the world. We're watching them throughout the week and then having a big conversation about them and with lots of thoughts and questions and inputs from you guys. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the club. We massively appreciate it. Today, we are travelling to Japan with Howl's Moving Castle. Here we go. There's the poster again. This is how high-tech we are, guys. We're travelling to Japan with Howl's Moving Castle, which is a film by one of the masters of Japanese cinema, Miyazaki, and it's from Studio Ghibli, one of the 22 films they made. They make just the most incredible, beautiful, fantastical, mad animated films that are obviously massive and hugely culturally important in Japan, but loved all over the world by film fans. They feel distinctly Japanese, but I guess they reach people all over the world. Antonia in Austria asked, why did we choose an animated film this week? Well, it was super hard picking a film in Japan, a Japanese film, because there are so many incredible examples. We posted a bunch of other ones that we love earlier in the week. Battle Royale is one of my favourite films ever. Ran, Seven Samurai, Akira, Ghost in the Shell. There are just way too many to even try and name. But I felt like, seeing as this is about escapism and about travelling and about trying to get out of the strange, surreal situation we're in at the moment, I thought that a Studio Ghibli film would be the most brilliant way to escape and a bit of a mad distraction. So we picked Howl's Moving Castle, which is quite controversial because a lot of people really wanted Spirited Away or other films by Studio Ghibli. But I just love Studio Ghibli's way of conjuring up these incredible worlds. And anyway, that's why we're here. How's everybody doing? How are you all? Hello, Molly. Hello, Carmeli. Thanks to everybody from all over the world for sending in questions. Every week we're completely overwhelmed. Anyway, as you know, we were about to speak to Emily Mortimer, who is the voice of Sophie, the main character, the young Sophie, in the English language version of the film. And we're really excited to chat to her in a sec. Before we speak to her, though, I every week have been making a jingle for each film. And this week, as someone that doesn't speak a word of Japanese, apart from very few, I was tasked with making a Japanese jingle, and I had some help from some very kind people who I'll mention later. But now is the time for me to play you the jingle, and feel free to judge and mock me as hard as you like.
Okay, ready?
So there it was. I hope anyone who speaks Japanese wasn't too offended by that. Howl's Moving Castle is a 2004 fantasy adventure. It's set in a fantastical kingdom, but it's also a critique of the Iraq War, and has a brilliant, strong, complex female lead. It was nominated for an Oscar and features some unbelievably beautiful animation, totally bonkers characters and plots. And Miyazaki said it's his favourite thing that he's made, and he wanted to convey that life is worth living. Choi Love from South Africa said, I just wanted to share my love for this movie. It made my life a better place to be in. I'm so glad you like it. Kyle Fox in the UK is a huge Ghibli fan. He says he's watched this film at least 50 times. Anna in Mexico says, hi, I'm from Mexico. Big fan of the movie and I'm really excited. So, hi, Anna. Glad you're here. Anyway, this week in Japan, it's Golden Week, where many Japanese workers get about a week off around the end of April, beginning of May, because there's a whole cluster of national holidays. So there's lots of people away this week, but we are very, very, very lucky to have the amazing actress Emily Mortimer joining us. So I'm going to see if I can find her. She plays Sophie in the English language version of the film. Excuse my... Oh, and I'm going to try to bring her in right now. Very exciting questions. Let's see if the magic... Hey, Emily!
Hello!
How's it going?
Good, it's very exciting. I've never done this before.
Well, I'm happy to be your first Instagram live chat with a complete stranger over the internet. How are you doing?
Not too bad, yeah, not too bad. Yes. Happy to be thinking about Howl's moving castle in the middle of this strange moment.
Yeah, it's provided a amazing escape, I think, for a bunch of people this week. So thank you so much for being here to chat about it.
My pleasure.
Everyone is very, very excited to say hi to you, and we've got hundreds and hundreds of questions from all over the world, and it's been a task trying to pick which ones to throw at you. But yeah, we're so excited. How have you been? How's lockdown treating you? Whereabouts are you?
I'm lucky. I'm out of this. I live in New York, but we're out of the city. My husband grew up in Long Island, out by the sea in Amagansett. So we've come out here. And we're far away from New York right now, but feeling kind of bad not being there in a way to go through it with everybody.
Yeah.
But having quite a sweet time all together, hunkered down, alternately feeling really lucky and safe and happy, and then suddenly just getting these odd moments of just sort of insanity like everybody. And but definitely watching films and thinking about other things in the way that you can only do when you're sort of transported by a film or a book or something has definitely been good medicine. And I'm so psyched you're doing what you're doing to.
Oh, thank you.
It's such a good service you're providing.
we wanted to find a way to use our obsession and geekery over film to sort of be able to travel the world, even though we're all kind of in our homes and very preoccupied with other things. But thank you so much for being part of it, and yeah, what an amazing film. Like I have a million questions to ask you, but I'm going to stick to the ones that people have sent in, if that's all right.
Cool.
Maddie in Australia wanted to know if you were a Ghibli fan before working on the film.
No, I wasn't at all. I'm ashamed to say I'd never really heard of Ghibli or Miyazaki or anything, which is a really a very kind of bad on me, and it was a big gap in my movie knowledge. And it was kind of amazing being introduced to him and his work and the whole Ghibli kind of universe, but through this film, and just watching it for the first time with subtitles as I did before they got me to do the voiceover, and just thinking, my God, this is mad, what is this? And I think in a way it was quite good to be completely unprepared for the world that I was entering into, because it is a mad world, even if you're really familiar with his work. It is like going in, it is like kind of Alice through the looking glass, like you're entering a whole different kind of stratosphere when you start watching a Miyazaki movie. And I think if I'd been more familiar with it, it may have been a different performance in a way that I gave, because there was part of just the kind of weirdness of the whole experience that helped, in a way, add to, because that's what Sophie is going through herself, is a kind of Alice through the looking glass moment. And so in some ways I felt like it was good to be unprepared.
Yeah, no, I bet. You sort of being sucked down that rabbit hole as a kind of version of Sophie, like going through the whole experience, I imagine being like, what the hell is, what's going on? This is completely mad, because it is totally bonkers. And to watch any of his films, like for the first time, but particularly this one, it's such a crazy journey. It must have been. I guess I have loads of questions about the process of recording it. You know, like, could you maybe paint a bit of a picture of what that was like, and you know, if it was just you, or if other members of the voice cast were there at the same time, and like how that all worked.
No, yeah, it was just me, and it was, and it's always just you. I've done a couple of animated things. I did a voice for Cars too. I was one of the cars, so I did a whole. I had that experience again there, but this one was particularly odd. I mean, yeah, you never have the rest of the cast there. Very often, you don't even know who's playing the other characters yet. I knew that the person who was playing the older Sophie was Gene Simmons, the great, you know, old movie star from another era, who I had known from watching Great Expectations, the David Lean Great Expectations, and where she was Estella, and Guys and Dolls, the movie of Guys and Dolls. And so I was just so blown away that I was playing the young version of Gene Simmons. But I don't think I knew that Christian Bale was my boyfriend yet. Anyway, but so it was just a very odd thing entering into this universe. You don't get to you never get to act with any of the other characters. You don't hit voices. You have to just conjure it up all in your imagination. But this was another layer of weirdness, because there was already the Japanese version of the movie with these voices there that you were hearing as you were kind of, and in a way you needed to hear a little bit as you were kind of doing your voice, because you're having to match the mouth, you're having to match your dialogue to the mouth movements that have already been created. You know, normally when you do an animated film like Cars or whatever, they make the mouth move in time to your voice because you record the voice first. But here we were recording everything after the fact. So and it made it very odd. Again, I think in a way it contributed in a good way to the oddness of the performance, where you're trying to like say these quite, and sometimes quite odd dialogue that is written especially to fit the mouth movements of the characters.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of get it in quick enough so that it doesn't look weird, but you also have to try and make it sound natural and believable. And so there was a lot going on, and it was extremely bizarre and in this kind of vacuum. And then hearing these weird sort of these you know, beautiful Japanese performances in one ear and kind of trying to match them but make them sound real and grounded and English. It was really weird. And then of course the first time I met all the characters and the rest of the cast, and in fact Miyazaki himself was at the premiere, you know, when we went to celebrate the finished product. So it was very strange, but I think, as I said to begin with, the strangeness of all of it in some way contributed to the kind of it was right that it was strange for this particular movie anyway.
Yes, it feels it. Having seen the film a few times, and it's nice to hear a little bit about the process, and like you said, too right that it was a bit weird. It must be such an amazingly different way round, I guess, for you, having made so many different types of films, to almost like do it in reverse, and like, I don't know, almost like a deconstructed way of doing it. And I'm just wondering about this sort of character, because the character's there. Jane in South Africa wanted to know about the challenges and how it compares to screen acting, but I guess you've sort of kind of just said it already. And so I really like this question. It was from Laura in Wales. I thought Sophie was such a strong and compassionate character and had so much admiration for her. And Laura wanted to know what it was that appealed to you most about playing the part, and whether or not you saw any of yourself in the character.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't know what year. Do you know what year it was that I did that? That came out, that the American version or the Disney version came out, because I can't remember how long ago it was, but I feel like I was young, and now I feel like I'm old. Well, not old, but like getting there. And so in watching the movie again and thinking about it now, I realize there's just so much that I missed about the complexities and kind of brilliance of like psychologically investigating kind of the freedom of old age. You know, that I think that this character, that Miyazaki and Diane Wynne Jones, the woman that wrote the original novel that the film was adapted from, that it's such an interesting exploration of age and the paradox of old age being something which gives you some kind of peace and freedom, and you're not scared of anything anymore. I think she says that. I think the character says that in the movie. It's funny, I don't feel scared of anything anymore. And how, and that sort of feeling of sort of youth being wasted on the young, and the courage and the kind of devil may care kind of attitude that one can get from being older. And if only we could sort of bottle that somehow, and make it feel like a freedom to be brave, you know, instead of a kind of dwindling feeling that one has from getting older. So I was watching it with all different new eyes. I was probably 10 years on or more from when they actually made the movie, and I'm a whole different person now. So I mean, I knew at the time that there was a lot going on with the character, and that was really cool for that reason, and that there was I do love characters where sort of still water runs deep, and you see this kind of timid person, and then you realize that she's got some feist to her, and that was really cool to be investigating at the time. But yeah, I'm looking at it with a whole different perspective now.
I love her arc. I think it's amazing, and we've been looking with Charlotte at the films, all the films we've done. We've been sort of putting them through the Bechdel test and seeing how they, you know, how they pass or fail that. And it's great to have a really strong female lead who has the sort of, like you said, the kind of reverse process, and it's almost like Big, but skipping 5 generations rather than just one. And it's just like you said, it's not just it's quite a complex sort of realization and journey and message, and and I love it for that. And I think that's potentially something in Studio Ghibli and in Japanese animation that's kind of feels super different to maybe what's explored in some sort of Western animation. Look, I feel like I've taken loads of your time. I guess I wanted to finish with this question from Cara in California, who just wanted to know how it feels to just be part of the Miyazaki universe, because it must just be amazing to have that as something that you've done.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, I've got 2 kids. They're one of them's 10 and the other one's 16 now. And my 10-year-old just studied the book of Howl's Moving Castle at school.
Oh, no way.
And then they watched the movie at the end, as the sort of treat at the end. But both my kids, and this would have happened irrespective of the fact that I did the movie. They both are passionately into his movies and his whole world. And I realized, sitting watching it again with them just now earlier today, I was just like, God, I really do feel. I think one of them said, "Mom, you must be so proud to be in this film." I was like, "Yes, I really am." It's so cool. It's just, you know, just what you were saying. He's a real auteur filmmaker I mean, it's almost maybe the most kind of audacious auteur filmmaker I've worked with, or I guess I worked with Martin Scorsese and Woody Allen, but he's up there with those guys where he creates his own universe, and he dares to put the kind of crazy shit that goes on inside his brain on film, and that's not many people do that, are really brave enough to do that in a way that is just totally committed, and that you can therefore fall through, as you said, the rabbit hole and enter this world. And it's so extraordinary. But it's like watching a Fellini film or something, where it's so kind of mad and dealing with such huge existential things, and it's so strange and odd, and yet it somehow feels very relatable. It somehow feels like it is about you, and it is about the world and love and global warming and war.
Totally.
And
war, love. And I love as well, I mean, I could go on about it for hours and hours, but I love how the acknowledgement of the sort of this mad mix of people who become like a family unit.
Yes,
Particularly
yes.
now, you know, in lockdown, in times where like some people are with their families, but other people are with friends, or you know, these sort of madcap family groups that can kind of
Yes.
that can come and form these really important bonds. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and
no,
they irritate they all irritate each other terribly. I love that. Like that feels very exactly to your point. Like it's just like a family. Like everybody gets on each other's nerves terribly, and but they still are a loyal little unit, and they're kind of battling through together in a way
yeah,
that's very moving by the end.
it is brilliant. Emily, thank you so much for joining us. I think
Thank you for
just
having
from reading
me.
all the comments, everyone's absolutely loved it. And yeah, like thanks for sharing your involvement in the film with us. It's been such a pleasure, and I hope you and your family stay well and take care. And
You
yeah,
too. You
such a pleasure.
too. And to everyone out there too. Yeah, look after yourselves, and thank you
Thank you
so much
so much. Take
for
care, Emily.
having me.
Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Wow, that was awesome. Okay, so I am going to grab our resident film expert Charlotte right now to chat about everything that we just talked about and more. But while I do it, I think I'll leave you with our jingle from this week, if that's all right. Thanks so much to Emily for joining us.
Okay, ready?
I went quite self-indulgent this week. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing?
That is an epic jingle. You
Thank you.
can't top yourself, but every week you just do one a little bit better.
I got a lot of help. My knowledge of the Japanese language is minimal, and I think because I think because we were in Japan, wanted to feel like we could celebrate the country a bit, talk about Golden Week, and I reached out to a few people. I reached out to a fan of ours who got in touch called Setsuko, who we're going to be speaking to in a minute, who helped me with the translation of that. Also, our friend Ralph's girlfriend Eleni, her family are Japanese, and they helped a little bit with the translation and pronunciation. And also, Mark, our producer, his brother Tom, and Tom's wife Madika, who live in Japan, also helped. So thank you so much to everyone for helping put that together.
I know I've got some thanks actually, because Gina J has been the person that people have said, how did you find Karija and how did you find Emily? And Gina J, this amazing casting director who has just been an angel and has helped us, and so many people have helped us behind the scenes, and everyone that's part of the club sending us their recommendations, sending us their questions. It's just been a joy.
It's been amazing. I know. I feel like every week, just so you guys know, every week we go through every single question that comes in on Instagram, every single question that comes in on Twitter. We read all the comments and go through them all, and wish we could shout out every single one of you, but it would be fucking boring. So we don't. But it means the world, and we try our hardest to reflect on the questions. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. How are you, Charlotte? How are you doing?
I'm doing so well because, like Emily was saying, I think that these Studio Ghibli films should be on the national health. They should be prescribed by to make you feel good, because are medicinal. They take you into a whole other place, space, time, dimension. So you can be sitting in your same room and just go on this fantastical journey. So it's been a great practice catching up on them all. Well, not all of them, some of them. What about you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I've enjoyed watching this film this week, and yeah, all is well here. I have some questions for you from fans. Is it cool if we get started?
Yes, get started. Yes, please.
So Nugi or Nuji in Indonesia wanted to know what your favorite scene in this amazing film is.
Oh, that is such an easy one. Just that scene where Hal comes down and he takes Sophie's hand and they go off over. They just float out over the city, and they're just like looking down at the city, and they're just, this moment you see them falling in love on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intoxicating, and it makes you giddy with happiness. It's just extraordinary. They're just sort of floating along, and it is that feeling of falling in love, and that kind of like, you're just above everything and looking down on the world, and you're together, and it's just magical. It's magical.
That scene is, yeah, it is amazing, and there's so much ridiculously good animation in the film. There's the sort of the cityscapes and the castle itself, and some of the landscapes that are so like amazingly beautiful and so distinctive in their style as well. Erica in Hungary wanted to know, what do you like the most about Studio Ghibli films in general?
In general, I think that Emily touched on it, that they're not just animation for children, aimed at children. They are for everyone. They are complete masterpieces. They rank with some of the top films I've ever seen, because they tick all the boxes, don't they? And they transport you to another world. The characters are so complex. The worlds are so beautifully imagined. Those characters, like the cat bus and the soot gremlins and the, I mean, what bit of your imagination is doing all those incredible things? It's just joyous filmmaking, and exhilarating, really, to watch.
Yeah, I was just reading so many people's comments coming up about differences. Apparently, people love Turnip Head. I mean, Turnip Head's a pretty great character, probably one of the best character names I can think of. Mina in India wants to know, what makes Miyazaki so cool?
I think that's such a great question. I think that he is so uniquely himself, and he creates these extraordinary pieces, but with such precision and such detail and such love. And apparently it takes on average about 4 years to make an anime movie, and he's made so many, but with each one with such love. And I think Spirited Away is the highest grossing Japanese movie ever made, and
it's amazing. Have you seen Spirited Away?
Yeah, it's just
it's beautiful,
phenomenal, and it just,
a lot of people surprised / a little bit miffed that we didn't pick that this week, but you know, a lot of people have got a lot of time on their hands right now, and there's no excuse not to watch both.
There's always another week, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back.
We will be back. And then Caitlin in Estonia, I guess, wanted to know, what do you think about men's and women's roles in the film? Which I think is a great question, and I think this film is yeah. I'll leave it to you.
Well, you touched on it in your introduction. Is that there's no need for a Bechdel test in this film. The women are so complex, and they're spirited, and they have initiative. And Sophie is both old and young. She's complex. She's resilient. She's intelligent. She gets on with it. She's vulnerable and yet also strong. But then there are other characters who are bad-tempered and feisty and difficult and evil and cruel, and I love all that. You know, it's not just picture perfect. It's brilliant.
It is amazing. I'm also seeing a lot of people quite pissed off that we've not mentioned Princess Mononoke.
Oh yes,
which is also amazing. I mean, both within the world of Studio Ghibli, because there are 22 amazing films, but also in the world of anime and in the world of Japanese cinema, it was fucking impossible to decide, because anyway, but I feel like this film is just transportative in a way that kind of totally fits with the spirit of the film club. And like watching it with some friends this week as well, it's just, as Emily said as well, and quite rightfully acknowledged, it's fucking bonkers. Like, it's just, his worlds are so mad.
It's mad, but what's interesting is that in that madness, he is talking about really serious issues, like it's a pacifist movie. Other movies, Princess Mononoke, and that talks about man's influence on the environment. There's something very beautiful about nature in these films, and there's so much going on, so many layers, and it's wonderful.
No, it is. Charlotte, thank you so much. Thank you for everything as ever.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Bye. See you later. Thank you, Charlotte. Always great to speak to her. And like she said, Bechdel wise, this film, no need to even put it through it. It's got like one of the more interesting female leads in any film of any genre. Sophie, there she is. All right, so we thought it would be really nice to speak to a couple of members of the film club, a couple of fans. I'm going to try and bring somebody in now. Let me just see if I can find her. 1 second. I'll leave you with the jingle just so there's no awkward silence, like exactly what's happening right now. Here you go.
Okay, ready?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Everyone, this is Setsuko. Thank you so much for your help making the jingle happen.
Your Japanese is perfect. I'm very proud.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry that I just made you sit through the whole thing awkwardly staring at me on the internet. How are you doing? Whereabouts are you, and how is lockdown treating you?
Good. I'm just outside of DC. I am on the university campus, so it's quite empty. We are reaching out at end of the semester, so it's about time. Lots of papers and exams coming. So that's keeping me distracted.
Yeah, I bet. I hope it's all going well, and as well as possible. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your help with translation. I was very nervous about attempting Japanese, but you have been a great teacher. So thank you. And
Thank you for trying.
This week we are visiting via Howl's Moving Castle. We're visiting Japan. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the film and if you enjoyed it.
Sure. I think this was a fantastic option of all the great options that we have from Ghibli Studio, Studio Ghibli. This was a poetic choice. I really liked how Sophie's uses her quick wit to get her ways, and her sensitivity. Remember when Sophie was cleaning up the bathroom and she messed up things, and how's hair changed?
Yeah.
And he thought this was the end of the world, and I think that's very relatable to most of us,
Yeah. As someone whose hair has recently changed, I can relate to that. It can feel apocalyptic. And before we let you go, I just wanted to ask, what other film from Japan, what other Japanese film would you have chosen if you could pick anything for us to watch as homework this week? What would you pick? Oh no, I lost you. I can't hear you. Oh no. Oh, anyway, Setsuko, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave you because I can't hear what you're saying. I hope you can hear me, and I just want to say thank you so much. No, you can't hear me. All right, take care. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Good luck with you. Bye. So technical issues there. That's what happens when you try and speak to people over the internet sometimes. All right, we are now going to get to our special guest. You probably will have absolutely no idea who this is going to be. It's a complete surprise, as ever. If my Instagram wants to work. Oh, look who it is. Who could this be? All right, we've got a surprise guest. It's been a while. We haven't spoken in a bit. Pretty excited. Oh, look who it is.
Hey guys.
Oh, hey.
I'm back again.
Are you wearing a vest?
Yes, I've been in lockdown for 8 weeks. I'm wearing a vest, Dan. Yeah,
I'm supposed you're wearing any clothes at all.
no, yeah, that's fair. I put the vest on before accepting the video. Quick, he's calling me.
That's what. Yeah, I thought that my phone was crashing, but it turns out it was just that. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I've turned to wearing vests now. So things have really taken a big old positive turn in my life.
You turned to wearing vests. I look like I've been electrocuted. In fact, I look like a manga character.
You do. You really do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I really enjoyed the film this week. It was
It was a
fun.
great choice.
Fun challenge trying to record a jingle in Japanese. That took quite an embarrassingly long amount of time.
You went for it, man, and I love it. It takes a brave soul to do that, and you nailed it as well. I'm very proud.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Are you keeping well? There's a lot happened in the last couple of weeks. Everybody missed you dearly last week. Everyone's like, how can you have plans? We're in lockdown.
Do you know what's weird? You kind of like I don't have days anymore. Like, you know, like there's no weekdays and weekends. And then for some reason, like this one plan in the middle of nowhere came in, and then that morning, people were like, "Oh, so are you going to be like a surprise guest?" And I was like, "Oh my god, it's so weird." As if I have a plan in my little pocket. It was so weird.
I was quite proud of. I was obviously gutted and disappointed, but quite proud of you to have actually made an evening plan midweek. That's pretty hard.
Imagine like, in all of lockdown to have two plans in the same little bracket.
It doesn't. I can't comprehend. That's like almost like having two quizzes at the same time. I mean, that's the lockdown equivalent of going out.
But this is the thing, because like sometimes I have to pull out to make it a surprise when I come back.
That's true, and it is a surprise. It's and it's wonderful. It's nice to see you, man.
It's good to see you too.
You and your vest.
Very, very good.
We had lots of questions about the film. But have you seen this? Have you seen it before? House Moving Castle?
So just really weirdly, my girlfriend has always been obsessed with them, and she got me into watching them. So I watched Spirited Away, then Princess Mononoke, and then Howl's Moving Castle. I watched maybe like the week before you said it was going to be on. So I was like, oh, so that's it. I'd already watched it. It was amazing.
Great. It's like you've done your homework before it even got set.
Yeah, and then I made sure not to watch it again because I wanted to keep that like one watch kind of wonder. Because you know when you watch it again and you know it's nice to pick all the little details out, but you will have the details and I won't. I'll just have that kind of one watch like awe kind of. So I thought I'd keep that.
Sure. It's
unbelievable.
Isn't it great? It's completely bonkers. Did you watch it, by the way? Did you watch it? A lot of people have commented on the fact that we had, obviously we're lucky enough to have Emily earlier who offered a really interesting perspective from the English language version. But a lot of people sort of commenting that obviously the subtitle original Japanese version exists, and there was some debate. Not only were people pretty annoyed about us choosing this over Totoro or any of the other Ghibli films, or like Akira or Ghost in the Shell or other anime. Yeah. Also, they were like in terms of versions, you know, people are free to watch whatever they want. But did you watch the dubbed version or did you watch the subtitled one?
I watched subtitle version. Again,
purist.
My girlfriend was pretty adamant about that.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get pushback. You're gonna get pushback. You know, whatever you choose.
True.
You know, it's it's nice to have the English Sophie on to speak earlier on.
Yeah, and how like the process of dubbing a film that already exists and is already culturally super important and massively successful must be so mad. Totally. All the time. So I'm gonna chuck some questions from some members of the club at you. Kate in London and Petra in Slovakia wanted to know if we were lucky enough to have a moving castle and a door that we could open that would go to 4 different places. What 4 places in the world, particularly right now in lockdown, would your magical door open into?
So, I mean, like first one is it's a bit of a cheat, but like it would, I guess it would open in like my next door neighbour's front door, so I could go to my house. So
yes, yeah.
So like my house, and then my grandparents' shed, so I'd open out from the shed, and I could be in my grandparents' house in Norfolk, big garden. I grew up there as a kid, nostalgic, beautiful, lovely.
Nice.
And then because that's kind of pretty boring and personal, like I'd probably chuck one like over Asia somewhere, like I don't know, South Korea or something. Just bosh.
Ooh, nice.
Nip out, soju, barbecue, nip back. Lovely,
Yes.
you know. And then maybe the other way, somewhere in America, I guess. Just because at least if I'm on that landmass, internal flights, if they
That's what I was thinking as well.
if they exist again, you know, you can just nip up and down pretty quick.
That's what I was thinking. Do you want to? Is it when I was trying to think of mine, which I'm not going to say because I couldn't decide on any. I was thinking like, is it emotional? Is it really boring and practical? Like, which continents can we get to the easiest? And then if we want to travel around and we don't have the option of anything other than like hitchhiking or whatever, like where would you go? Anyway, I'm sure if we had a moving castle, there'd be no rules anyway. But you know, you've got to set some. Carmen in Sydney, Australia, wanted to know if you could choose one magical power, what would it be and why?
I mean, turning into that massive magical bird was pretty cool.
Yeah, he looks fucking terrifying, but sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, God. Yeah, and like each time he turned, he was a bit different, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was getting worse. I felt.
Yeah, it's getting worse. So maybe, I mean, I'd like to not get worse. That'd be nice. Although, like right at the beginning, when he has Sophie, like he kind of like steps and flies over the town anyway. So maybe that one.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, flying. Flying, I agree. I love that scene.
Flying is great.
Because you're like, what's going on? And then suddenly he takes off and the whole thing kind of expands.
It's amazing.
A bunch of people made the quite savvy and clever connection between the moving castle and
I had seen
the tour bus that we live on quite a lot of the time.
And like, what is odd is the comparisons are are many. This is as in like inside it, you know, like you have everything you need. You have your bed and your toilet and your front room and kitchen and all that stuff. And you know, one day you will be in somewhere in a different country, and you close the door, you go to bed, and when you wake up the next day, you're genuinely in a different country.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Sometimes on a different landmass. It's like it's insane.
The nights where, so I don't know, like I'm not sure how much people do or don't know or care about tour buses, but the idea that like the four of us, well, the five of us, and a bunch of our crew that we work with all live in little bunks. So there's a corridor with 3 bunks, and yeah, you get on after a gig, it drives off, and you know, sometimes you'll go on a ferry to another country on a, you know, across continents, across underseas, overseas. It's pretty surreal, and I guess the whole idea, it can feel like it, you know. If I can't sleep, I have bad insomnia on tour, but for those who can sleep, I imagine it must be like you close your eyes in one country and open them in the next.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I guess it's like moving castle, except a lot less regal, and
less magical fires,
and less magical poos, because you can't poo on the tour bus.
No, you can't do that on the tour bus. So you know, it's good that everyone knows that.
Yeah, sorry, just pulling the curtain back, guys. Annika in Germany wanted to know, therefore, what would you prefer, a moving castle or a tour bus?
Well, I've been on a tour bus for so much of my life at this point that I'm going to have to pick a castle. I think a castle would be, a castle would be just amazing. Yeah,
it would be pretty cool. I mean, a mechanical castle on legs, I think, is probably going to win any day over.
You're right. You are right.
But that's me. Julieta in Mexico was asking if these films and Studio Ghibli films meant something special to you, or if this film in particular. But you did just tell us that your girlfriend introduced you to, so I'm going to assume that's the answer. Unless
absolutely. And I think it's important as well. Like you've spoken about it a lot. Like the light, the positive light it shines on people who are older, and also just getting old, and like how it's generally thought thought on quite negatively, but this film really paints in a different light, and it's kind of like, you know, like the kind of respect that is had to older people and stuff in the film, I think is really nice, and also showing that, like, you know, like when you're old, you're not like a dumb old person. You're you're full of wisdom, and you're and Sophie's like super smart and really really sneaky and aware and sharp, and it's just, yeah, it was really cool.
I love how complex the characters are. Calcifier probably needs a mention. Like you said, we don't have a fire on the tour bus. If we had a fire on the tour bus, it'd be terrifying, and we'd probably not want to be on the tour bus. But even if it was a magical
if it spoke, yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, if it spoke and if it had magical powers, that would also be really cool. Speaking of magical powers, Mafalda in Portugal, would you like to be a wizard? If yes, which spells would you like to do?
Okay, who's going to say no to that question?
I know. No, I think I'm all right not being a wizard.
No, I'm all right, actually.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Just a beige, boring human for the rest of my life with no wizard powers. No, I think it'd be great to be a wizard, because I mean, just imagine like what that opens up in life. I would, yeah, you know, I'd make a deal with a falling star, and then I would, and then I'd make it drive around me in my castle, and turn into birds.
He's made to do a lot, isn't he? That poor castle.
Yeah. Like he boils all the water for the bath, and he cooks up the food.
It's to move a massive castle.
Have you had a similar sort of like hair scenario in your house? Because you got a friend called Sophie, and if she mixed up your hair dyes, it's a question from Jenny in the USA, by the way.
Jenny in the USA.
Would you be mad at her if you went to dye your hair like you do every morning, and it went a different color? Like, you know, would you have a breakdown?
Probably. I mean, does it not look like I'm in the midst of a breakdown anyway?
Are you mid breakdown at the minute?
Yeah, I'm that far into one.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think I'd be completely cool about it. What if it was suddenly blue? Yeah, it'd be great.
It'd be
a bit like
nice
Howl.
to
If I
show it off.
maybe it would change with my emotions, like Howl.
That'd be nice though.
Would be nice.
Like a mood ring, but a mood hair.
Like a mood wig. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be good. Loving it.
Dude, thank you so much. I feel like we should go and speak to Rena, who is another member of the film club and fan, who is around, and we're going to go say hi to her. Dude, thank you so much for everything this week.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you.
It's great. Good to see you too.
I'll speak to you in a bit.
Take it easy and have a nice
Cheers,
night.
Mate.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye. Guys, we are nearly done with Film Club this week. Thank you so much for joining Distraction Tactics. We're going to speak to one more person, if that's all right with you. Here's a picture of Sophie. Oh, actually, wait, no. Here's a nice poster of the film, just for you guys to look at while I go and find another member of the film club. This should be Rena. Let's see if she's around, using the magic of Instagram to hopefully bring her. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
How's it going? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing? How's lockdown treating you, and whereabouts are you?
I'm sorry.
How is lockdown treating you, and whereabouts? Where in the world are you at the moment?
I'm here in Japan, and I just came back from Canada last month, but I'm doing good, thank you.
I'm glad you're doing all right. Hello from London. How is Japan at the moment?
It's good, but the cases are decreasing, I think. I mean,
That's good.
it's few.
That's great. That's good to hear. So have you watched Howl's Moving Castle? Are you a fan of Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, amazing.
It was really good.
What did you think? What was your favorite bit?
I love the scene when Sophie and Hal walked in the sky together. I thought that was really cute.
That is amazing, that bit. I love it so much. And what have you been doing to keep yourself distracted through lockdown and through everything that's happening at the moment?
I've been watching films and listening to your songs all the time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, no, thanks so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And I guess we wanted to know, what are there other films? Are there other Studio Ghibli films that you love? Like, can you make any recommendations for people who are watching Film Club tonight?
Definitely Spirited Away. That's one of
Great
my
film.
favorite ones. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
brilliant. Well, we just wanted to bring you in to say goodbye at the end of Film Club this week, and thank you so much for joining us, Rena.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and take care, and we'll see you soon.
You too.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, everybody, we've reached the end this week. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. Thank you to Emily Mortimer for chatting earlier. That was really, really fascinating. So much more we want to talk to her about, but we're going to try and chat to her again and put up a longer interview tomorrow if we can. Thank you so much to Charlotte for everything this week and for her brilliant insight. Thank you to Midzi for making the visual jingle. Thanks to Bo and everyone who's helped, and Sophie. And of course to Eleni's family, Marika and Tom Crew, and Setsuko for helping me write that jingle. Guys, I'm going to leave you with the jingle one more time and see you next week. We are going to Germany to watch the amazing Run Lola Run. So I hope that you can join us. I hope you enjoy the film. And I will see you really soon. Take care.
Okay, ready?
Bye. See you later. Take care. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.